Yeah, so I am doing this story. I met Philip like online, maybe I don't even know when, a few weeks ago, and I was sort of already a little bit aware of his website, and it's pretty awesome because I think it gives people their own voice. Sorry, I'm a bit fidgety, I'm leaning on my knees, I'm not doing very well at this. And the idea of people kind of putting their own stories out there for their dyslexia is pretty awesome. I suppose it's all over the interwebs that I'm dyslexic. In various different flavours. When I did my PhD in 2017 at Bath Uni, the uni, like I think probably partly because my husband works at the uni, I don't know, somebody or other kind of cottoned on that this kind of dyslexic creature, me, did the part-time PhD in just less than 4 years. Partly because I'm tight and didn't want to pay too much, and partly just because I wanted it done because it was good, but the stress was just ridiculous. And yeah, so that sort of started me being like publicly known as a dyslexic person. It was never a secret per se, but I think it was quite empowering in some ways, because I was, at the time when I graduated, I was a Senko in a little private school near to where I live in Trowbridge in Wiltshire, so not far from there. It was bikeable, so it can't have been that far, and all the kids knew and all the rest of it. So yeah, dyslexia. Quite warm, so I'm just gonna, you get me as you get me. That's how life goes. Just take my cardi off. So I got diagnosed and assessed when I was 17. So like, I'd gone all through school and I'm a massive geek. Like, I'm book smart. There's no question of that. But I also worked insanely hard, and I still do. Like, anyone that works with me knows that, like, you have to turn my computer off and throw it out of the way to stop me working sometimes. My mum would also testify to that from all the way through school. So I spent most of school just feeling a bit thick, or not. When I say thick, it's really disrespectful to myself and to just, it's not a very nice word, but like, not enough, I think. Like, I wasn't doing enough, or I wasn't clever enough, because I knew I could get stuff. Reading notes and stuff didn't make any sense. It was just exhausting. Processing, kind of filing things, getting things in my brain and getting it to make sense was just an absolute pain. But I never kind of underachieved visibly, because I got straight A's, no stars at GCSE. I'm lucky. I'm clever and I'm book smart and all the rest of it. And so I wasn't like an obvious underachiever. I did Saturday jobs, I did sport, I did lots of stuff. So I lived that wholesome kind of very waspy, sorry I keep my finger in front of the camera, very waspy kind of existence in Leamington Spa, where I grew up. So yeah, you wouldn't think Helen's dyslexic, she's not achieving her potential, whatever, but it was A-level maths. The mechanics bit, I did it where it was, you kind of did half pure maths and half mechanics. And because I wanted to do engineering at uni, I knew that I liked hitting stuff, I like breaking stuff, still like hitting stuff, breaking stuff, pretty awesome fun. So yeah, but it was reading the questions, like mechanics ones, you had to read it, kind of visualise it in your head, and then like draw force diagrams, just kind of make sense of the physics of what was going on, so you could do the maths. And I'm clearly not daft, but I couldn't do it. I could not, and literally floods of tears in the classroom, crying and just frustrated and just feeling really bloody stupid, which was horrible. And my teacher, oh goodness, my teacher was just the most lovely woman, Mrs. McConaughey. I went to Myton School, Mrs. McConaughey, in 1999. Let's give this lady credit for being epic. She and my mum kind of had a chat and put their heads together. Mum did a lot of work in adult literacy at the time at Warwickshire College, so I don't exactly know what she did, and I kind of, a stroppy teenager me just went, okay. But actually it turns out that her experience in that was invaluable to unpicking what was going on with me. I don't know the process, I don't know exactly what they did, but they got somebody somewhere to sign a piece of paper, and I went to a lady called Margaret Newton in Great Malvern, proper like round the houses in the Malvern Hills, like towards Wales from where we were. A grand day out, and got assessed, and she wrote this report, and it was really funny. I surfaced the other day, I was going through paperwork, and I read my dyslexia report. Now I'm an assessor. When I was 17, it was like, it talked about me having anxieties, and it talked about me worrying and needing structure and kind of wanting to control stuff, and I was like, oh shit, that's properly how I am. So yeah, this lady who met me for a day proper got my number. But then, yeah, I found out I was dyslexic, and I haven't got all the standard scores and stuff, and I'm an assessor now, so I know what that's on about. But there was just the terminology she used was like, she described my memory and processing as being just within average ranges or below average, but elements of like problem solving that being like really, really, really strong. So there was this massive like typical spiky profile, technical term. It is actually a technical term. That was the root of a lot of my frustration. So I'm not stupid. 17-year-old me is like, oh, I'm not stupid. I still can't bloody read. So I got extra time in exams, and actually like maths went all right in the end. Yeah, I got myself to uni, went to Sheffield, did engineering. I still felt really bloody stupid. Doing mechanical engineering at one of the Russell Group unis, I'm clearly not stupid, but you don't get over feeling not enough for 10, 15 years. It doesn't go away. And I think, although I know now I know cognitively why stuff's hard, and I know kind of, that kind of head and heart knowledge, I know why stuff is tricky. That notion of not being enough, it's with me. Like, I just don't feel like I'm enough at a lot of stuff, and it's really frustrating because on paper you're like, oh, you're not daft, you're not rubbish, but it's like in a cartoon, that little like devil and the angel that's on each of your shoulders. And I think my devil's like the negative self-talk. It's a proper badass little devil I've got in mine, because I think it beats the crap out of the little angel at times and proper undermines me. It's really annoying. So I think one of the things that Philip said to talk about was like stuff, legacies and difficulties with it. Yes, mental health. My mental health's a bit crap at times. Quite open about it. It's nobody else's problem per se, but it's something that, yeah, I'm honest about it. There's no point not being. If I'm in a position where I can be open about it, and it comes from a place of not feeling enough, not feeling like I'm good enough. And I'm from a very book smart family as well, like Team Newton, proper book smart. So it's kind of, you don't want to let people down, even though rationally, like mum and dad are epic, it's not a problem. But that's, I don't know, it's just how it is, isn't it? And yeah, so I got to uni and did all that lot, and then I started teaching in Barnsley. So one of the strengths I think I've got is that I did my teacher training after deciding engineering. It wasn't for me. It didn't. Me and working as a control systems engineer did not mesh. I like people too much, and the kind of dynamics of and the complexities of human interactions proper fascinates me. So I ended up, after a period of kind of quite wobbly time, I ended up doing teacher training in Sheffield, Helen. Awesome uni, loved it. Trained in Barnsley, which is like, it's not Royal Leamington Spa, it's a very different culture, but I loved it. It's probably the making of me. And you got all these kind of daft government policies and that at the time, like, oh, everyone's got to read this, everyone's got to be able to do that. And I'm just like, you haven't got a clue. They hadn't got a clue. The reality on the ground for some people in some areas, because Barnsley's a really complicated, I think if an area could have PTSD, I think after the miners' strikes and all that stuff, I think Barnsley's probably got it, as it were. I love it. I would live in Barnsley over Bath any day of the week, because it's awesome. But it was complicated, and all these kind of edicts saying, everyone's got to do this, and all the rest of it. I was just like, no, that's stupid. That it's not the reality of these people. So I think, and because I struggle with reading, I really struggle with reading. I don't read books voluntarily very often. It kind of chimed a lot, so I started reading policy stuff, like government stuff, like consultations and whatnot. And I was like, oh, these people have all got like a PhD or doctor, prof, whatever. So I'm like, right, I need to learn about this stuff. And I ended up doing my PhD after travelling around Peru and kind of meeting other teachers. And poor Mr. Dr. Ross, Andy, patient man, he we sat and ranted a lot. It was mostly in Cusco. It was kind of growing as an idea while I was teaching in Barnsley, but this idea that I need to learn about social policy, I need to learn how to do like social science, because it's not hitting stuff. Ideally not hitting stuff. It's not really the done thing, is it, to hit your participants? But yeah, to understand how to unpick things and make it hopefully better for people. So I did. And I think the real strength that dyslexia gave me was that understanding of how hard it can be. So flash forward to after being in Cusco and getting back from mincing around after we got married. We're very lucky again, very fortunate. I realised the lucky bugger that I am, and yeah, I did my PhD under Tina Skinner, who, she's amazing, she's awesome, academic mummy Tina, and a guy called David Skidmore again, like, guys are ledge, just really lovely people, and the support I had was phenomenal. And I think Tina is dyslexic, so I think that affinity that we had with that was really cool. She got it and I get it, and it was that real mutual understanding of stuff we find hard, and it just, I don't know, like doing a PhD in it, you know, I wanted to contribute to government stuff, and I do. I wrote part of a policy briefing the other Sunday, and it's proper bonkers. It's nothing I expected. I'm working with companies internationally and like colleagues who are just, you know, I'm doing stuff with Swansea Uni and like, yeah, just various collaborators all over the world. And I think the people that I work with know that I love them all dearly, and they're just amazing. And I'm a lucky bugger with who I work with as well. And the strengths that dyslexia has given me has been that staying power and resilience to a point, and I'll crack on and get stuff done. And it's an understanding of what people have on the ground, and yeah, doing the PhD has just opened so many doors as well to hopefully be useful. I actually use my PhD, unlike Mr. Dr. Ross, who doesn't, which is a little bit mean, and I do rip him for that. Pharmaceutical chemistry, can't remember the title, it's got words. But yeah, I think, yeah, dyslexia and specific learning difficulties, they're kind of, anything that's like a neurodiversity is a bit sucky because you can't see it, and people don't get it if they don't get it, and even if they don't get it, they don't necessarily accept that there's anything to be got, and that really makes me cross, because just because you don't see something, just because you don't understand it, doesn't mean it's not real. So I think having a voice and bigging up the skills like resilience, like insanely lateral thinking, like I don't know what planet I inhabit at times, because I've got a very quirky way of looking at the world, and that's a real strength, but people don't necessarily get it, and because they don't get it, it's not real or whatever, and that's just not right. You know, you've got to listen to people and be heard. Mummy Newton, you know, with 2 ears, 1 mouth, use them in proportion, and I try. I'm a talker, a real talker, but I hope I listen, and I hope that's been a strength of the journey I've had with dyslexia. Yeah, I don't know. Would I be not dyslexic? I'd love to be able to read and not want to throw the book out the window, literally throw the book out the window. Does my head in. But equally, it's the beauty of text to speech, innit? Like Windows read aloud functions. Love it. So I think the thing that I want next for my journey is to like be more at ease with myself still. I am, you know, I like me, you know, I'm not horrible and all the rest of it most of the time, but it's still working towards feeling at ease with myself. And then ask anyone who works with me. There's a couple of people who are amazing. Jennifer, Michael and Andy, like, you people are amazing and have the patience of saints. Yeah, lots of people along the way, appreciated lots, who deal with me and dyslexia and the wobbles and meltdowns that I have, because I'm a bit insecure and a lot anxious. You can see I'm squirming. So yeah, I don't really know. Dyslexia is part of me, but it isn't all of me. And I hope that I can use Rent-A-Gob here to make life a little bit easier for the people who haven't got such a big mouth. I think that's always been my aim. Yeah, since starting teaching in Barnsley, being useful in rattling cages where they need rattling, and hoping that other people don't have such a wobbly journey through school. Yeah, I guess that's me. That's where I'm at with dyslexia. I'll love you and leave you. Have a nice day, everybody.